How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Toronto just won Game 1 of the 2019 NBA Finals. Despite Kawhi Leonard struggling, only scoring 23 points on 5 for 14 shooting, you can bet Leonard will make more than 5 shots for every game for the rest of the series. The 27-year-old superstar will look to join the league company and becoming one of the very few players to win a championship in less than a year since being traded. So here's every NBA superstar who's won a championship immediately after being traded.
Oscar Robertson. The Big O spent his first 10 seasons with the Cincinnati Royals as the solo superstar for his team. After retired Celtics great point guard Bob Cousy took over as head coach for the 1969-70 season, the 31-year-old Robertson put up over 25 a game, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, but his 36-46 team had no chance in competing for a title. Oscar would be traded on April 21st, 1970 to the Milwaukee Bucks for Charlie Paul and Flynn Robinson and team up with second-year sensation Lou Alcindor. Many experts believe it was Cousy's jealousy of Robertson that led to the trade. While the Big O had just broken many of Bob's records, the Bucks went from a 56-win team to a 66-win team with the 32-year-old Robertson, who was the clear second option, put up 19.5 points, almost 6 rebounds, over 8 assists, alongside Alcindor, who won his first ever MVP award. The team also featured role players in Bob Danrich, John McLaughlin, and Greg Smith. Robertson was a big reason why the team had a 20-game winning streak at one point. The Bucks smacked everybody in the playoffs, going 12-2 overall in one of the most historic runs, knocked off Golden State in 5, the Lakers with Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, and Will Chamberlain in 5, demolished the Baltimore Bullets in an easy 4-game sweep. Robertson was nothing short of spectacular, averaged 23.5 points, 5 rebounds, 9.5 assists in those finals, capped off Game 4 with a punctuating 30-point effort. Jabbar put up 27, 18.5 boards, winning Finals MVP. Robert Parish. The summer of 1980 was an important process for the upcoming Celtics dynasty. After losing to the 76ers in a 5-game series in the conference finals, Boston knew they needed an upgrade to build around second-year sensation Larry Bird. Boston traded the number 1 pick to the Golden State Warriors for 26-year-old Robert Parish, and the number 3 pick Boston then used to select Kevin McHale, an absolute steal, altering the landscape for an entire decade. Although Joe Barry Carroll turned out to be a solid player as the first overall pick, he was no McHale or Parish. Parish averaged 17 points, 11 rebounds the year before being a Celtic. While the genius decision by Red Auerbach heavily paid off, the Seas were an instant success. Parish even finished 7th in MVP voting for the 81 season. His teammate Larry Bird was the runner-up. The Chief averaged almost 19 points, 9.5 boards, alongside over 2.5 block shots. As the second option, the 7-foot big man was also the back line of the Boston Celtic defense. His team won 62-20 overall, and Parish's first season with the Seas swept Artis Gilmore's Bulls in the Eastern semis, then rallied from a 3-1 deficit to beat the rival Sixers in one of the greatest playoff series ever. Had a daunting task going up against Moses Malone and the Rockets in the finals, but Parish's defense on the 6'10 center was key to Boston's success, holding Moses to 40% shooting, a 10% drop-off since he was shooting nearly 51% in the playoffs up to the finals. Malone averaged 22.3 points those 6 games, 6 points less than his 28.5 point average the 15 playoff games prior to the finals. Parish averaged 15 points, almost 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks, while Cedric Maxwell went on to win Finals MVP. Without him, it would be very unlikely that Boston would have beaten Philadelphia in the first place. Moses Malone. Big Mo was part of one of the most lopsided trades in NBA history. After winning 2 MVPs in 6 seasons with the Rockets, Philly sent the 32-year-old Caldwell Jones and the 83 first-round pick, which turned out to be Rodney McRae, to Houston. Malone was at the height of his powers, regarded as the best player in the league at the time, averaged 31.1 points, almost 15 rebounds in 1982, put up 24.5 points, 15 rebounds, 2 block shots with the 65-win Sixers, won his 3rd regular season MVP award. When writers asked Malone how Philly would fare in the 83 playoffs, he uttered his famous faux prediction, meaning his team would sweep to the title in 12 straight games. Because of his confidence, everybody stepped up, swept the Knicks in the conference semis, was up 3-0 against the Bucks, but lost Game 4 100-94, finished them off the following game, advancing to the NBA Finals, facing off the defending champion Lakers, who finished 58-24 overall. Rookie James Worthy fractures his leg before the playoffs, costing him the rest of the season. The 28-year-old Malone took it right at 36-year-old Abdul-Jabbar, outplayed the 6-time MVP, put up almost 26 points, 18 rebounds, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks, Jabbar posted 23.5 points, 7.5 boards. LA actually led every game in the finals at the half, was up 14 at halftime in Game 4, but the Sixers came storming back, outscoring Showtime 33-15 in the final period. Malone led his team in scoring in all 4 of those games. Clyde Drexler, February 14, 1995. With the Blazers pretty much out of contention for the playoffs, the 6'7" shooting guard was 32 years old and only had a couple great years left. The Rockets received their best Valentine's Day gift in franchise history when Portland pulled the trigger by sending Drexler and Tracy Murray to the Rockets in exchange for Otis Storr, Marcelo Nicola, and a future first. The hometown native couldn't be any happier. Reuniting with his college teammate Hakeem Olajuwon, H-Town was the one place Clyde rather be than anywhere else in the NBA. Houston, however, struggled in the regular season, going 47-35, earning the 6th seed, but their experience and veteran leadership came into effect in the postseason. Dream had one of the most amazing playoff runs of any player in NBA history, but none of the series would have been won without Drexler, who averaged over 25 against Utah. Him and Hakeem also became the 3rd set of teammates to score 40+ in a playoff game after dropping 41 in Game 4 against Utah to stave off elimination, had 31 big points in the Game 5 clincher, escaping with a 4-point win. Drexler would score 29 big points in Game 7 against Phoenix in the semis in the 1-point win, while it was mostly Hakeem destroying both David Robinson and Shaq in the conference finals and NBA finals. Drexler averaged 21.5 points, 9.5 boards, nearly 7 assists in the 4-game sweep against Orlando. Last but not least, in one of the craziest offseason acquisitions in NBA history, the Boston Celtics trading for both Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett in summer of 07. The Boston franchise was at the lowest lows, finished with an awful 24-58 overall record in 06-07. The once proud franchise seemed like it was heading for a collapse, with a 20% chance in getting the first overall pick and an 18.8% shot at number 2. The seeds dropped all the way to 5. Couldn't land Kevin Durant, so they drafted Jeff Green, then shifted him to Seattle as part of the Ray Allen deal. Ray was coming off a career-best 26.4 point average with the Sonics as the best 3-point shooter in the game at the time. A great first step for Boston in having 2 All-Stars with Pierce and Allen. A month later, they landed the big ticket, acquiring superstar power forward Kevin Garnett from Minnesota in exchange for Al Jefferson, Gerald Green, Sebastian Telfair, Ryan Gomes, Deal Ratliff, and 2 draft picks, which turned out to be Wayne Ellington and bust Johnny Flynn. Boston was instantly heavy contenders and favorites to win the title. Garnett was arguably a top 5 player in the game at the time, was the vocal leader and heart and soul of that Celtics team, who anchored the defense. Everybody made huge sacrifices, where Garnett's averages dropped from 22.4 points in 39.5 minutes the season before to 18.8 points, 9.2 rebounds in less than 33 minutes, but his intensity and work ethic was contagious, making Boston one of the best defensive teams, won his first and only Defensive Player of the Year award that season. Allen's scoring dropped 9 whole points, averaged 4.5 minutes less than the season before. Pierce went from averaging 25 a game to 19.6. The team won 66 games. Despite some early playoff struggles, KG set the tone in the conference finals, averaged almost 23 a game in the 6-game win over the Pistons. Pierce averaged 21.8 points in the finals, alongside 6.3 assists, winning finals MVP. Allen also put up over 20 a game, including a clutch layup over Slasha Vujacic in the Game 4 25-point comeback, hit 7 threes in Game 6, going off for 26 points. Garnett absolutely abused and bullied Pau Gasol the whole series, averaged over 18 points, 13 rebounds, outplayed and dominated the Lakers inside, had a monster putback in Game 1, had 26 and 14 in Game 6, an iconic moment in NBA Finals history with KG celebrating and screaming after the win, "Anything is possible! Anything's possible!" 11 years later, Kawhi Leonard will look to make this list. After being traded with Danny Green for DeMar DeRozan, Jakob Poeltl, and the 2019 first-round pick to the Spurs, Leonard's having one of the most historic postseason runs in NBA history, and if he delivers a championship to the city of Toronto in less than a year after being traded, it would be one of the most epic moments in NBA history, but Golden State remains a difficult task to take down. Other stars who helped their teams win a title less than a year after being traded: rookie Kevin McHale played a key role off the bench, but wasn't as good yet in 81. Mark Aguirre for the 89 Pistons, Dennis Rodman for the 96 Bulls, Rasheed Wallace for the 04 Pistons, and other very good role players in Antoine Walker for the 06 Heat and Tyson Chandler for the 2011 Mavs.
Now for my 2019 NBA Finals prediction, the Despite Toronto winning Game 1, I still got Golden State winning in 6. If KD comes back in Games 3 or 4 and dominates, I can't see the Raptors beating the Warriors at full strength. But if Kevin Durant's still really hurt, I can see Toronto winning this series in 7, but it will be a long shot. Also, if you guys haven't watched the 2019 NBA Finals commercial before the game, I highly recommend you to check it out. I think you'll love it. I also think you'll see someone very familiar. So let me know how you like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, and anything basketball that will interest you. If you love the NBA, subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon. I love all of you. See you next time.